everybody, it's Catherine. Welcome back to my channel and welcome if you are new. Tonight's video I teased on Instagram a couple of weeks back, and we are going to look at work appropriate nail art. So I've come up with 10 options of nail art that I kind of experimented with over the last couple of weeks. So we're going to have a look at the 10 examples that I came up with and have a look at 10 tips along the way. So all the manicures I show you will be listed down below with a description of what I used for each manicure. So don't worry, I've got you covered, including what's on my nails. So obviously a lot of the manis and tips that I go through will be completely dependent on what you're allowed to have at work or your office or school or whatever it is. And so you can kind of use your own judgment. Some people can kind of experiment a lot with colour. Other people have to keep maybe a little bit more of a sophisticated, subtle and reserved approach, which is kind of what I've gone for in the 10 manicures that I'm going to show you. So the first manicure I'm going to show you is a very basic kind of tip as well, which is to keep it in the same colour family. So I have stamped a darker colour coral with a lighter coral, and I don't think it looks too outlandish, even though the images are a little bit more bold than what you'd probably expect for work appropriate manicures. I think it kind of works if you keep them in the same colour family. It's just a little bit more of a sophisticated look. The second manicure then is kind of leading on from that, and this is a gradient look. Here you can experiment outside the colour family a bit more. I haven't in the one that I'm showing you, but I have experimented with the patterns. So we've got stripes, we've got zigzags, we've got floral kind of motifs, and we've got just the general kind of gradient look as well. You can do it with sponge or plate depending on your comfort level. But the gradient works really, really well. So it's kind of a subtle, sophisticated look. And I think if you're experimenting with pinks and greys and whites, you can push it even a little bit further. My third tip is to keep it in the neutral zone, especially if you want to have a bit more sparkle or a bit more of a metallic look in your nail art for work. I think go with a neutral base and then go with a similar colour in a metallic or sparkle. I have used actually stickers from Essence here. They're kind of a coppery colour, so they're a little bit more bold, but I've kept it on neutral base so it doesn't look too much and it still looks quite nice on the nail and quite subtle. So yeah, keep it in neutral and you should be okay. So my fourth manicure is a dotacure. I just used a very simple one dot method here, but you could obviously branch out as much as you want to and as much as you're allowed to with your work look. I think this one looks really nice. It's also kind of in the same colour family, so that kind of works, although I think any kind of metallic dot would have worked here in any colour, or even just a little kind of rhinestone or something like that. One of my friends was texting me recently about that kind of look, wondering how to do it or where they could get supplies for it. So that's also a good look to go with. Just kind of a nice rosy colour pink, or maybe a neutral colour, a nude colour, and then like a metallic dot or a sticker or a rhinestone or whatever it is you want to use. Now my fifth manicure look is probably going to surprise a lot of people, because a lot of people wouldn't expect this colour to be work appropriate, but I know a lot of people that wear this colour to the office, and this is pretty much all they wear, and that is black. Black looks really good. It's a neutral colour in a lot of ways for a lot of people, and a lot of people are wearing monochromatic looks to work anyway, so this kind of works. So the first kind of dark look that I'm going to show you, I'm doing half matte, half gloss, and I've used kind of a half moon shape to give it a very uber kind of deep look, but also super sophisticated and quite sexy as well, actually, even though it's work and you don't want to be sexy, but still it looks really good. So it'll take you from the office to the bar, no problem. I really, really like that kind of black sultry look. But you might not be able to wear black at work, but I think a lot of people can, so this might be a look that you could experiment with. Sticking with black, my sixth look is a monochromatic look, and here I've actually painted my nails white and stamped them with a black pattern. I think black and white just are timeless. They look really, really good. You can experiment with how big the pattern you want to have, or how much white or how much black. Here I went with quite a lot of black to tone down the white, because I think white can look quite stark on a nail. It depends. If you're a very pale person, it can actually look quite good. I think white can look really, really good. But if you're leaning into your pinky, more peachy tones, I think it's good to kind of mix it up a bit. Just my personal choice, but obviously you're going to know what works best for you. Number 7 then is to be traditional. And I don't mean be boring, I mean just be traditional in your patterns. If you want to experiment a little bit more with colour, the look that I'm showing you here is going into more of a purple look, and it's a darker stamp on a lighter base. I think you can get away with this, but if you keep the stamping pattern quite simple, this can be a good look to use for work, and I think it can look really nice and sophisticated. I've used that word so much, but professional. Let's go with professional if you don't overdo it. So that is number 7. Following on from that then, if you want to experiment with pattern, again, keeping it more traditional, but maybe even more so with a lacy look, I actually think stamping on a bare nail looks really good. And actually I saw this a lot in Japan on Japanese professional women who had just a very plain bare nail but had nail art on it. So they'd maybe put I've actually used a French kind of a polish here, French manicure polish, just a very sheer coat. So it is a bare nail almost, but I've stamped over it in white. I've only done one nail because my nails are very yellow, so this would never work for me without that kind of sheer coat. But yeah, I think this can look really well. I saw a lot of Japanese women wear this, and they had their full kind of suits going to work or whatever it was they were wearing going to work, and I thought it looked really beautiful, and it looked very subtle and it wasn't too over the top. So that's something that you can experiment with if you've got the right nails for it and you're comfortable rocking the bare look. Me, I'll never go naked. No. Number 9 then is to keep the image small. If you want to use something that's a little bit different and you want to experiment more with colour, you want it a bit bright, but you don't want it to jump too much off your nails, I would keep the colour palette to a minimum, no more than 3 colours, and then keep the images small, like in the image that I'm showing you. That pink is a little bit brighter, but I have the silver and the white is kind of toning it down, and it's a very kind of beautiful simplified scroll image, but it's small and yet it doesn't look too boring. I don't think. I think it looks pretty good, so that might be something that you could use to mix it up a little bit in your nail art routine for work. And number 10 is to experiment with the old reliable French manicure. Now I say experiment, I kind of messed mine up here, so I added the little kind of looped bits at the end with stamping to kind of cover up on my mistake. My nail line is far too long really, and far too prominent to get away with a French these days. If you have shorter nails, you can just rock a plain French. That'll be beautiful as well. But actually I don't mind how this turned out. There's a slight shimmer in the sheer polish that I used, and then I just had white on the tips with that kind of looped design. But experiment with the French manicure and you might have more fun doing that during the week, and then you can rock your brighter colours at the weekend. So I hope you enjoyed those 10 manicures and tips. Please feel free to share more tips in the comments down below. There's lots I didn't really get to, and I was trying to think of maybe more kind of natural, like marble effects you can go for, that kind of thing. I think if you keep it towards the kind of pinks, the neutrals, the browns, earthy colours, maybe not green, but I think you'll get away with a lot of that as well. But again, it depends on your workplace, so please do share any tips you have in the comments down below. I will talk to you all again very, very soon. Take care. Bye.